Hello friends, welcome back and I hope you're all doing awesome. And as usual, it's time for more Reddit posts about entitled people, crazy people, and everything in between. So let's begin. Call 911. Runs away. For context, I work the front desk at a hotel. Okay, if you witness someone that needs 911 emergency, call from your cell phone where you stand. Don't panic and run all the way to the front desk, scream call 911 and then run away. You are witnessing the event. You can give more details than us that aren't even aware of the situation. So when 911 starts asking us the probing questions, where are they at? How old are they? What do they look like? Have they had a seizure before? And I have to tell them I don't know to everything. It is frustrating to me and the paramedics. A man comes running to the front desk from down the hallway, cell phone visibly sticking out of his pocket, and bangs on the front desk counter to get my attention. I walked across the lobby to fluff a pillow. I walk the 50 feet back to the front desk and say, "Yes, sir?" But before I can even finish, he starts screaming at me to call 911, and then runs away down the hallway and out our hallway exit to the parking lot. I had to grab my own phone and chase him, 8 months pregnant, back outside to figure out what the hell was going on. I walked or waddled down the parking lot, and finally found a very high or drunk lady having a seizure, and a few people crowding around her looking clueless and panicked because they don't know what to do. So I dial 911 as I'm walking up to this crowd. Someone sees me, runs up to me, and interrupts me trying to explain things to the 911 operator, then states the obvious. "This lady is in distress, call 911. I nod and explain to the operator what is going on and to send paramedics right away, which the operator starts asking me probing questions. Is she pregnant? Has she had a seizure before? Is she on medication? Meanwhile, I have people screaming at me that she's having a seizure, call 911, while I'm on the phone with 911. When I finally got the operator to understand that I don't know anything about the person having a seizure, I hung up and told the people screaming at me to call 911. I say, I called and paramedics are on the phone. I have to go back to the front desk now to check on things, and direct the ambulance to the correct side of the hotel when they arrive. But the paramedics should be here shortly. If anything else happens, someone can contact 911 by dialing on a cell phone, so that you are able to explain what is going on better than I can. As I turned away, people started panicking again because I was leaving. When I got up to the front desk, a line of people were angrily tapping away at the front desk waiting for assistance. I apologized and explained that there was an emergency situation that I had to look into. Once the line was taken care of, a guest that had been with the crowd of people came up to the front desk and said, "That lady is still in distress," as if I was supposed to magically make her stop having a seizure by being present at the scene. I politely smiled and said, "Yes ma'am, but I also have to take care of the front desk since I am by myself, plus direct paramedics when they arrive, so I cannot stay by the guest. If there are any changes, the paramedics said to contact them by dialing 911 on a cell phone." She huffed and puffed rudely and walked away. Seriously, if you see someone that needs 911 attention, grab your cell phone or find someone else that has a cell phone. If you need the hotel address, you can always run up to the front desk and ask for the address. But if you just run up and demand the front desk calls 911 without explaining why or what is happening, we aren't going to be much help, because we can literally only tell the 911 operator, "I need an ambulance, but I don't know why or where the person that needs it is." To a certain extent, I can understand how people can sometimes get a bit dumb in distressing situations, but using your brain just a little bit can go a long way. Running up to the front desk yelling call 911 and then running off to who knows where is not using your brain at all. And with there being a crowd of people, I find it hard to believe that no one had a working cell phone. It's like because they were at a hotel, they thought it was the hotel's responsibility to do that. Creeped out a catcaller and now he avoids me. A man recently moved into an apartment unit in the business district of my city, just a few doors down from my place of work. I'd seen him in passing and he'd come into my retail job a few times. He'd introduced himself, told me he just moved here from the Bronx, and always acted uncomfortably flirty with me. But I always ignored him and gave him that passive-aggressive, automated customer service behavior to send him on his way. A week ago, while I was locking up and walking to my car, I heard someone whistling really loudly from above me. I turned and looked up to see this man leaning out of his apartment window looking right at me. "Hey pretty lady, finally done with the grind? Want to come over and check out my place?" I kinda laughed and waved him off, telling him no thank you and I'm trying to head home. He continued to shout at me as I kept walking, trying to convince me to come up and we could have, quote, plenty of fun together. I turned around and told him much more firmly that I'm not interested and never will be, to which he responded, "Come on, don't be a f***ing weirdo, that's weirdo behavior." I felt a switch in me flip, and I don't know why I decided to do this, but I proceeded to start barking at him like a rabid dog, snarling, slobbering, the works. When he tried shushing me, I really ramped it up until the people passing by were staring at us, until he called me a freak and closed his window. Now every single time this man sees me on the street, he crosses. When he sees me at my job, he leaves. He won't even make eye contact with me if I happen to see him anywhere in public. I'd consider it a win for sure. That's a great way to deal with it. Keep getting harassed? Just make them think you're a complete lunatic. I tried to help and got accused of kidnapping. I live in a small town that throws a sort of end of summer folly type thing. Big party in the park. Food, games, raffles, music, dancing, rides. I went out with my husband, our friends, and my dad. My husband and I sent our friends and my dad to get a table while we got the food. And while we were in line, I saw a little girl who was absolutely terrified and obviously lost. I don't have a major problem with kids, I just don't want them. My primary fear was this kid was small and there were drunk people walking around. She could get hurt. So I went to her and tried to ask her where her parents were. I think she was just so happy someone was there that she threw herself around me and clung for life. I didn't have a problem with that since I could tell she was upset. So I gave her a squeeze and started for one of the management tents. About halfway there, I feel someone grab my arm and proceed to start pulling, hard, like they were trying to rip it off. And then someone was hitting me. I turn. This man is really upset and trying to take the child. "That's my daughter, why are you holding my daughter?" "I'm sorry, I know this is odd, but she was all alone over there and crying. I was taking her to the tent to page for her parents." "No you weren't, you're trying to kidnap my effing daughter. Why else would you be carrying her like that?" "Because she was scared and she needed to calm down. I didn't want to let her walk and risk losing her in the crowd." At that point, an off-duty cop came over. The dad immediately tells him he saw me snatch his daughter and was heading for the exit. I explained that my husband and I had been waiting in line for barbecue when I saw her. She was alone, terrified and crying, so I went to her. I was just taking her to the management tent across the food area. My husband and our friends who saw everything and a few of the folks at the tables near the line came to my defense. So I wasn't arrested and the dad was forced to apologize. I'm reminded about the Middle Eastern man in Florida who did the same thing I did when he saw a little girl scared and lost, and the dad beat him up. I'm a small woman. What if this man had assaulted me? As bad as it sounds, but if I see a child in need of adult help again, unless there's a mountain lion running at it with a knife, fork, and kiss the cook apron on, or some other danger, I'll just turn my back. Karen wants to be treated in hospital before a 3-day-old baby. I gave birth to my daughter on Tuesday, then were released Thursday. On Thursday, we saw our pediatrician after being released from the hospital. Turns out my daughter's bilirubin jaundice levels were high-ish. She was born at 37 weeks due to me having preeclampsia, so she's technically early to the doctors, so they're being precocious and checking her levels don't get into a dangerous level. On Saturday, we had a doctor's order prescription to have her blood drawn at the lab, but had to be taken and wait in the ER. There were 3 to 4 people sitting in the ER when we arrived. Get checked in, my fiance and I sit, waiting to be registered. The ER desk worker recognized us from the other day, I guess from when I was in the hospital giving birth, and asked about us and my daughter. How she is, how many days she is, why she's here, etc. I'd also like to point out my daughter is extremely quiet for a newborn as well, literally never made a peep in the waiting room. The registration woman comes out with that rolling cart not even 2 minutes later, walks over to us and begins the process, when the old lady Karen pipes up, who was on the other side of the woman. "I've been waiting 2 hours, check me in first." 1. That has to be completely false due to how quickly the woman came out to us, and how dead the ER currently was. 2. She literally cut the woman off as she's asking us questions, which is rude regardless. Don't get me wrong, I can understand it being annoying, someone getting attention before you when you were there first, but there are nicer and politer ways of going about it. The registration woman gave the woman a look, then to me sympathetically. My daughter wasn't fussy or anything, so I had no problem waiting. Gave her a small nod as if to say I understand. Then the woman began checking in Karen. Only Karen didn't speak to the woman, only shoved her paperwork into the woman's hand and sat quietly again. Once the registration woman was done, I think just confirming things due to her not needing anything from Karen, checked us in, thanked both my party and the woman, to which of course my fiance and I thanked her back out of politeness. Karen glared over at the worker and us. After about 15 to 20 minutes, Karen told, not asked, told the worker to tell the ER receptionist she's been waiting 2 hours and to call the lab technicians down again. The ER receptionist gets the message from the passing worker, gives Karen a look, and proceeds to call or page the lab again, while making a slightly annoyed uh-huh sound. After a moment, the receptionist turned to my fiance and I, apologizing to us, saying the technician would be down in a moment, and that on Saturdays they only have one blood technician. A few minutes later, the very lovely technician came down and immediately came to help us, helping us gather our stuff out of kindness. The receptionist made some sort of comment about how Karen is also getting a lab done, to which the tech made an ah kind of sound. The feeling I got was the receptionist told the tech on the phone about Karen causing issues, and that an infant was waiting. Well good, you can follow us. My fiance and I took an extra second to get the car seat picked up, diaper bag, etc. So Karen had a moment to stand with the tech who was complimenting us on our daughter, to which Karen said nicely but slightly smug, "Yeah, what a cute baby." We took a short walk to the lab area, Karen speed walking past us, talking to the tech about how she doesn't even understand why she's here. She could be doing other things on a Saturday. She's been waiting 2 hours, etc. While the tech is nicely smiling and agreeing, apologizing she's the only blood technician on the weekends. We approach the room, to which the tech turns, smiles smugly and tells Karen, "Ma'am, you can have a seat right here. Y'all can come right inside." "What?" Karen said. "Yes ma'am, the seat's right here. We'll be done in just a minute." Karen huffed, giving my, again, 4-day-old baby a look, as if it's her fault Karen was a complete and utter pain in the ass, making the receptionist and tech want to make her life even harder. Again, my daughter hasn't made a sound and was perfectly fine. Karen easily could have gone before us and both of us were here for blood to be drawn, but I guess Karen had to wait even longer due to her sucky attitude towards staff. Anyway guys, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care and I'll see you next time.